What's going on, fellow humans and resellers? It's I, James, RedemptionAgency.com, 23 years selling full-time on eBay. And we're Friday. Got some stuff to ship out. Got baby girl in the house. Got Pee-wee at the top of the stairs just watching down. And let's get started. We're going to run through this stuff really quick. We are 10:10 a.m. And let's see what we did yesterday. So yesterday I said we should get 800 plus. So hopefully we beat that 800 number. Let's see if we beat the prediction or not, or if we're in that 800 realm. Or did we even hit it at all? The clothing store yesterday, 313.39. So not quite 500. We'll work on that. We'll work on that. Media store. Did I have any international? I think I did. Yes. It's about $35 in international sales. So in the media store, $557. 556.56 equals 800 plus. So $870 for yesterday. So right where I thought we'd end up. What's going on today so far? So at 10:12 a.m. in the media store, I'm at $98. And in the clothing store, I'm at $126. So 224. Like to be 250 plus at 10 a.m. So close to that. I do got a work on the weekend sale here. So now I think I'm actually even Steven on the last 2 times I've shopped on the weekends with this sale. So I'll look for some places today. Look for some stuff today. While I'm still working on, I didn't get nothing listed yesterday. Just been getting through all that vinyl. And within that vinyl, I found probably about 30, 40 laser discs also from my collection when I had a laser disc player. So get working on those today, and then whatever I find today. So yeah, so far so good. So since it's so late, we're just going to jump into this, and I have kind of a topic off reselling to talk about. Just something I've been noticing, and a comment on my video, one of my videos overnight, kind of jarred it all, where I've been thinking about it, but not realizing it and focusing it. But now with that comment this morning, I was able to focus it down and kind of lump it all together. But let's get into this. And it's just about people. It's just about human nature. But we got this Lincoln hat. No international on the clothing store. I've had international on here. Not many international ever. But then again, I don't have these hooked up to Web Interpret either to put on other sites. Anyway, that Lincoln hat sold for $6, headed to Novi, Michigan. So and some of this is kind of self-evaluating to make sure I don't fall into that type of a person, or that kind of a headspace, if you will. But so the comment this morning on one of my shorts was, "You need to get a haircut." And what that brought up in my head was my dad most of my life criticizing me, always telling me I need to get a haircut. He would actually say those things. So him always criticizing me, my upbringing. So that brought that back, and then that kind of threw it into the last couple of days. My mind's been trying to understand why or how people are so one-sided or another, and to a fault, really. They will make themselves look ignorant, stupid or dumb for lack of a better word, but ignorant, lack of information, just because it fits their narrative, right? So I've been trying to break that down in my head. Zion National Park, I sold for $7, headed to Oregon. Like, what makes a person so blocked off to information or open thoughts, free thinking? What is that block that people have? Because I don't have that block that I'm pretty sure of. So so when I say self-evaluating, I'm kind of go through everything I do and see, do I have that kind of block with certain topics or certain subjects? Self-evaluating, because I don't want to have that. I don't want to ever look, I'm all for protesting whatever you don't like, but when I see these videos and the way people act out, and they make themselves look not just ignorant, but like flailing on the ground and things like that, you're like, my first thought is mentally ill. These people who are just acting out, not the protesters per se, but just some of them, the way they do things. My first thought is mentally ill. So if we remove that section, we know there's people who are not right for one reason or another mentally. People who are flaying around, the people who are firebombing dealerships, right? We know people who are physically attacking people. We know that there's something not normal going on in the brain there. So we can throw those aside. There's a reason for that. So what's the next reason when you have these people who will sit there and talk to the camera and try to sound intellectual, but yet they base it off of wrong information or miscalculated, or not miscalculated, but misinterpreted things, like the way Elon, when he was excited and he threw his hand up, and how they run with that's doing the old German salute. But they're sitting there doing it, right? They're sitting there doing it while they're while they're demonstrating it. But they're doing it accurately, where you could tell Elon was just excited, right? And they're actually holding signs with swastikas on them. They're actually carving swastikas into cars, which is a sign of the old German supporters of that. It's not like it's that with an X through it or anything. It's a straight up sign. And you look at this and go, how come they can't see what they're doing looks more supportive of that old German regime than what they're trying to point out Elon did? So I'm trying to process, you have these older people, boomers, I'm guessing, they look boomerish, that are trying to justify it. And I'm thinking, how did you get this far in life? I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. Like, what am I missing here? Why is your perspective so skewed just to support something you're protesting against? So I've been just trying to rack my head around that. And then I think this morning, with the statement, you just need to get a haircut, or just you need a haircut, kind of just close the book on it, on my thought process for it, because We got this unknown PC cap. Sold for $6, headed to Tampa, Florida. Because I wasn't going to change my dad's thinking. My mom was always right no matter what. Even if you had the facts to prove her wrong, she would just get mad at you, and she was right all the time in her head. So when I started, when that kicked off, that comment this morning kicked off that memory, it just made me realize that I just lumped them into kind of the way my parents were. My parents lacked education. They lacked motivation. They lacked a vision, I guess you could say, not having an open mind to growth. So they lacked growth, they lacked vision, they lacked education, drive, ambition. So I'm just kind of like lumping that kind of thinking in with the way my parents were. And realizing that you're always going to have a part of human nature that just, for some reason or another, thinks they are right, even when they are wrong. And they're not willing to accept anything else other than what they think. Now, where does that come from? Is that pride? Is that ego? Is that survival? Deep down, not Neanderthalish, but like cavemanish, like DNA or whatever, to survive on this planet. And I don't mean that as a negative, like as a down turn thing, negative thing, but like if back in the cave day, it was about survival, and what you thought you knew, and that's what got you from day to day to day to day, right? And if it worked from one day to the next, well, you're going to stick with that thought process because it worked for one day. It worked for 2 days. It worked for a month. It worked for a year. So you're going to keep that thought process because it keeps you on that level. Wherever that level is compared to the knowledge or truth or information, well, that's to be decided. It could be down here where, is it even really leveled like that? Is it more of a parallel thing or a vertical thing? If I'm coming across, I think I know what I'm saying here. Like, because it worked yesterday, it's going to work tomorrow. And I don't need nothing else. This is what works for me. I go straight. Instead of living like this, they just live like this. That's probably the best way to show it. They live like this, where a lot of people with open minds and people who can change their minds and admit if they're wrong about something, they live like this. I did not grab a box for these shoes. At least that's the view. I like to think the more I learn, the better I become, the better decisions I make. So I feel that when it comes to life, it's an uphill projection. You're bettering yourself. Where if you just think one way only, no matter whether it's true or not, you're just existing. You're not growing. Next up, we've got these Pumas. That's been in storage for years when I used to sell a bunch of shoes from the clearance store. So I got these all blue low top Pumas here. They sold for $88. And they're headed to authentication in New Jersey. And no matter what you do, because I've had experience with it growing up, no matter what you do, what you say, what information you can bring to the table, it will not change that person. Oh, I don't need to weigh this one. So, why waste thought processing trying to figure it out? Because it's beyond, not beyond figuring out, it's going to take more scientific, research to actually understand why some people are set in that mindset. We got these polo corduroy jeans from the working on the weekend thing. So now I think I'm broke even now. They sold for $24, headed to Glendale, California. And I always try to make sure I didn't think like my parents did. That I always kept an open mind. That's why certain words and statements were important to me when I was talking about things. As far as I know, quote unquote, as far as I can see, from what the numbers are telling me, from what the patterns are telling me. So just, those statements meant a lot to me because it meant that I'm open to more information to figure that out. There's Pee-wee in the house. And I remember growing up, got this American flag hat. Sold for $10.50, headed to Selden, New York. I always tried different methods to change my parents. Not necessarily change them, but make them think differently. Whether that was sarcasm or introducing new information or introducing facts but none of it was ever accepted. I think the fact that my dad eventually got over me having long hair, that changed. I don't think he ever said it while he lived here. I'm pretty sure he didn't. So I think over time that changed because I think he was in the mindset that you got to have short hair to get through life as a guy, right? You got to work at the factory, you got to cut your hair, you got to look and do this certain part in order to get through life, where that was not who I was or going to be. So I think eventually he got used to it when, I was working, had a car, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe he saw that, there is another way to do it. Next up, we got this Calvin Klein women's jacket. Sold for $14.50, headed to Naples, Florida. that chain on me. Next up, we got this Woodstock shirt. Sold for $10.50. Headed to Chattanooga, Tennessee. So yeah, I've been on that thought process for probably all week, just just watching not a lot, but some YouTube videos where people walk into the crowd at those protests and just start asking simple questions, and the responses just make you scratch your head, like, huh? That doesn't jive with reality, right? At least the reality that I know of from the information I've pulled in, et cetera, or my view of an action, if you will, type of thing. So I look at him, I go, all right, are these people just crazy, or am I missing something, right? So I try to sit there and think how they would think. And I've never been able to come to a change in trying to put myself in their thought process. Like, like I've been doing that, going in circles all week with this. So I think that statement this morning made me realize that there are going to be people like my parents who will not change no matter what so I want to thank whoever that, I know they were just probably being smart ass or mean or however my dad was, closed-minded, whatever, when they made the statement. Ignorant, good word. But it helped me close what I've been trying to process all week. Because, hey, I am all for, I love the thought process of learning just one little nugget of something different than what you're originally thinking can open up literally a whole new world. So I love that thought process. So I'm all about trying to find little nuggets that I don't know, or that will change a thought process, because then your world's just opened up, a whole new set of information, a whole new, set of ideas and theories and whatever the case may be. Run DMC shirt, sold for $9.50, headed to Sterling, Illinois. Because some of those people I'm watching, I'm like, all right, you look to be about 60, 65 years old. You think like this, but yet you've gotten through life. What am I missing here? How did you get through life? You're able to stand out here all day without, having to seemingly worry about a job or anything, whether you're retired or whatever the case may be. But like, you got from point A to point B. Am I missing something here? How did they get here with this kind of thinking? Is it wrong, or is it just different, or am I missing something? Or, you know what I mean? That's been my headspace all week. And the fact that the information I learned today to close it up, to me, is just as valuable if I would have found something within all those little interviews that actually made sense and jived with facts, or maybe my point of view of not liking the government. And I don't think that's ever going to change with me. I don't trust any politician, and I don't trust the government, period. And I think, some of the stuff that's being exposed kind of shows why I didn't, because I knew that kind of stuff was going on, whether it's waste, corruption, whatever you want to call it, right? I knew that was going on. But so the fact that I learned that people are people are people, so why should it be that there are people who will change no matter what, like my parents, was, even though I knew that, it was like the icing on the cake with this past week and my mental journey, if you will. And it was just as eye-opening as if I would have learned something new. Because I didn't learn anything new. It just kind of reminded me of something of old. Some of the caster wheels sold for. Oh, they want two. Let me go grab another one. So we got two of these. They sold for $11.50. Headed to Fort White, Florida. So it allows me just to move on to something new. Something different for my head to play with. Because now I have an answer, at least a broad answer, to cover the certain amount of the people that I was questioning. And I think that one of the key things, too, that kind of fit into that narrative is the people who will key a Tesla with, like, how do you not know cameras are on those cars? It's all over the news, but yet people are still doing it. Like, what part of your head is not right there to understand you're going to get caught? There are cameras. And that kind of fits into that whole ignorant kind of narrative thing. So I don't know. And by ignorant, I just mean actually what that word means: lack of information. We're all ignorant we're all ignorant, period, just in different categories or whatever. All right, why are you not working? Oh, you have to hit an I agree now? Terms? Oh, that's the FedEx thing. Okay. I don't think I've ever had to do that before. Like, I'm ignorant in a lot of stuff, but I'm self-aware of my ignorance, which that might be a nice little term there, self-aware. I'm self-aware of where I'm ignorant, and I'm always willing to take in information to change that. Like, I'm ignorant in a lot of fields. I mean, I barely made it through high school. I didn't go to college. I learned all this on my own. But I'm not ignorant in the fact that I know what I know and I know what I don't know. And that might be a big thing for a lot of people, is being self-aware of knowing what you don't know, instead of just acting like it, or because you heard somebody say. Like for my mom, what was that? Was that, as before the internet and stuff, before what I saw news media to be so one-sided. So what was that from? Just people and friends looking at a viewpoint together, and this is what they come up with. Whereas opposed to nowadays, if CNN or Fox says it, then you follow it. Making up for that group of friends who only thought one way. Like my group of friends, growing up to current day, all have different point of views about various different things. But the cool thing is when we go on trips together, whatever, we used to always just talk about it and come up with new theories and new directions and new explanations and things like that, which made it more fun and interesting, at least for me, because I was taking in information and having a dialogue, which could turn into, like I said, new viewpoints that could open up a whole new world. So that's always exciting to me. The number of times in my life where I said, I never thought of it like that. Like when that comes out of my mouth, I just get excited. Because that means I just found a nugget or a perspective that could turn into something different that I didn't have prior. And that excites me. If there was ever a camera around, when I thought of, or maybe there was, maybe I've done it on this video before, not with reading something or whatever, but you can see it in my face when I say something like that, because I could picture it myself going, ooh, I never thought of it like that. And just, you could see the wheels start to turn in my head. At least that's the way I look in my mind when I say that. Put up a bunch of Thomas the Train things that I picked up at a yard sale last summer, the summer before. Like a whole tote of trains and track and stuff for like $10. So I sold one of the trains for $12. Yeah. I just sold a coloring book. A Wonder Woman coloring book. Awesome. Yeah. That's the ticket. So I got more sales there. All right, onward to the media store. Nose itch. Nope, it's $3.99. You either want it or you don't. I don't do lower than $3.99 unless you're buying more than one. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. That's as low as I'm going on that one too. Okay. All right. We've got one going to Australia. That's the only international. Combine two orders. All right. First up, we've got classical piece here. Sold for $14.50. Headed to El Paso, Texas. Pedro. Perfect name for Texas. Pedro. Next up. Are you ready? Hey, for a CD line. Oh. We got, I think they're religious band Delirious. 3 CDs. $5 a piece. Headed to Vail, Arizona. They did not use the buy 2 get 2. They only bought 3. That one could use some resurfacing. Next up, we got Ministry. So for $6.50, headed to El Paso, Texas. 2 different people. Similar zip codes, close. But El Paso may be small, I don't know. I don't think I've ever been through El Paso. I saw an article, I hope it's true, I didn't fact check it. Where Texas is looking to create an Autobahn style highway. I didn't fact check it because it sounds like it makes sense, being that you can go like 85 in Texas on some parts of Texas. So I didn't check it, but thought that would be pretty cool if it happened. Rudy. Next, I think it's 85. Right? I know it's a lot faster than anywhere else I've driven. Got Chuck Berry. Sold for $4. Headed to Seabright, New Jersey. George. I think there was always supposed to be like a super highway that never got built to kind of go north and south in the United States. I think it was north, or was it east and west? I think it was north and south to start with, but it never happened. Next up, we've got another Genesis controller. So for $13, headed to Hollister, California. I know there's room. I know there's room in there. I think that's one thing I want to change is I want to find time to learn something I don't know. But I want to find something that could benefit me monetarily or online, something, you know. So, I mean, there's so much new stuff coming out. There's plenty of avenues I could probably go down with AI and stuff like that. I look at some of those, you know, YouTube channels, like building faceless YouTube channels. Kind of started going down that road, and I'm like, it's just not for me. I don't think I would enjoy it. So I've been trying to find a little road to go down. We've got this Age of Empires disc only. So for $8, headed to Los Angeles. So I've been trying to find something because I would like it to kind of, something I could do on YouTube is where I'm kind of pushing it, and or something to do with the business. Something that could, if I'm investing time into it, it could turn into some, money. So I'm getting paid. I'll eventually get paid for whatever I'm doing. Kind of like a school. I mean, if you think about it, you go to school to learn something, hoping to get a job in that field afterwards. So I've been turning to like a bunch of the younger kids' videos, seeing what they're doing and how they're doing things, and what can I learn from them, because they've grown up more. They've grown up in the tech world, in the internet age, in the YouTube age, and all that, where I didn't. So I'm watching a lot of the younger crowd and how they're doing things, and going, what can I take from this? Sue Dodge on my way. Sold for $650, headed to Cunning, Kentucky. Which kind of takes you back to what I was talking about earlier, where you had a lot of older people who think, well, I'm older, I know better, or I know more than somebody. It's not about knowing more, it's about what avenues, like, for me, of course, I may have a lot more street knowledge than somebody who's grown up in the internet age, who's just been in the house most of their life. Okay, well, what do they have that I don't because of their situation? What can I pull from that to benefit me today? And if somebody like that ever wanted to start a YouTube where they're going, say a YouTube channel where they're going into bad areas of the country to get footage, well, I might be able to help you there, because I grew up in that kind of a situation. I can tell you things not to do, what to watch out for, how to act. So it's not about knowing more. It's just about knowing your role, I guess. Good way of putting it. Knowing your strong points, your weak points. And being open-minded to learn what you don't know. Being open-minded to realize you don't know what you don't know. Sue Dodge on my way, $650, Cunningham, Kentucky. Don't remember if I said that or not. For Shannon. And your mailers. DeGrazia documentary DVD. Sold for $15. Headed to San Antonio, Texas. Return delivered. I'm waiting on a return to Oh, that scammer with the open said there was nothing in the box. No, that one. It said there was nothing in the package. They never responded back. There was somebody else before that who said it was empty. So I've had 2 in the past 2 weeks. And they opened a return, so I'm expecting, they were in Canada. And it said they shipped it. So I'm curious to see if I get it back today. Because if I just get an empty box, I'm going to fight it and say, nope. You sent back an empty box. I did not send an empty box. Homie don't play that. So I've been waiting for that package to come back. If they really sent it. I don't remember what it was. Oh, it was a toy, an action figure. Let's see if one of these that popped up is outcome for a dispute. Is that, oh, that was the chargeback or something. Okay, so that's a hat, so they haven't, I doubt they're sending it back. So just one of those who tried to get something for free. Okay. Another one, I should say. Too many of them lately. Coldplay CD sold for $5 headed to Louisville, Kentucky. Too many scammers out there this year. Cynthia. TATU, whatever the band name is, TATU. Sold for $6.50, headed to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Next up, are you ready? 2 Clay Walker singles, 1 promo, $6.50 and $5. Headed to Yawkey, West Virginia. Sarah. I haven't heard that song in a long time. Starship. Sarah. 5-string banjo instructional DVD sold for $5. Headed to Arkansas. Perfect. Perfect home for a banjo. Arkansas. I can picture it already. Sitting on the back porch in the swing or in the rocking chair with the banjo. Robert. The Dream Shoddy is the shit. CD sold for, it's a promo single, sold for $14. Headed to Syracuse, New York. Yolanda. Next up, we got New England self-titled album. Sold for $5, headed to Hartsdale, New York. Matthew. And last US one. Are you ready for a 45 lot? 5555, buy two, get two. We got Michael Jackson. Billie Jean is not my lover. She's just a girl who said that I am the one. The kid is not my son. We got Tears for Fears. Shout, shout, let it all out. These are the things I can do without. Come on. I'm talking to you. Come on and open. Good Lord. Huh. Next up, we got Glass Tiger. Don't you forget about me. Don't you forget about me. And then got Billy Joe. Tell her about it. Headed to Burgettstown, Pennsylvania. Burgettstown. Rebecca. Tell her about it. All right. That was a weird thunder sound. It sounded like it was encapsulated into something. That was a weird one. Yolanda. Roberts. Sarah. Beth. Cynthia. Richard. Stephanie. Atticus. George. Rudy. Joe. Pedro. And then we got the one international. Ren Woods vinyl record. Headed to Australia. So far, $6. Tell her about it. Oh, I almost made it. Record 12, perfect. Perfecto mundo. I'm guessing there's going to be no yard sales today, so I'll hit a thrift store or so and see what we can find. All right. I am done. Got these to resurface, and then I am outie. 5,000, so you'll probably be watching this video late today. But I thank you. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are not, and I will see you all in the next video. Later.